I take this opportunity to share my fitness venture and experience with you all. So first of all, let me start with what is Ironman. So Ironman is a triathlon competition. Triathlon is multi-sports activity. So you have three sports: swim, bike, and run. And it is one of the toughest one-day sports. So there are different types of triathlon. You have to start from the shortest one and slowly graduate towards a full Ironman. So sprint, where you start with 750 meters of swim, 20 kilometers cycle, followed by 5 kilometers of run. So what I did recently was Ironman 70.3, which is half iron distance, where you are supposed to swim 1.9 kilometers. It's a sea swim, followed by 90 kilometers of cycling, followed by half marathon, that is 21 kilometers. So you have to do this back to back, and there is cut-off time for each event and also the total event. So you are supposed to do this in 8 hours time. So I'm going to show you a small video of the event where I did this. This was the professional video put up on YouTube by the organizers, and it will give you the glimpse. There is a world which exists where we have never been, and I think we should go there and experience it. So I did my half Ironman at Poland, Gdynia. Typically these are all destinations, beachside towns which are typical tourist spots. So thousands of people would gather there. There were 2,000 participants and their friends and family members. So this is the Baltic Sea where your competition starts, and because it's a cold climate, you are supposed to wear wetsuits, and one after another batches will take a dive into Baltic Sea, and there is a route where you go about a kilometer deep. Of course there is good backup, and then you make a U-turn and then you exit out at a transition one. So you can see this sort of completely different atmosphere, and people are around you to motivate you. And after some time you can't really feel the cold of water because your hand and legs are working. And this is the T1 called transition zone, where you get out of water, even transition time is also counted. You are supposed to take out your wetsuit, wear your cycling gears, cycling shoes, cleats, whatever you are comfortable, wear headgear, helmet, and then you start your biking route, biking leg. And this is again a scenic route, lot of elevations. I had about 750 meters of elevation, and typically this route goes out of the town along the outskirts because you want to make a loop of 90 kilometers. And the cut-off time is about 4 hours to finish this. And if you don't finish in time, they disqualify you and they stop you at that moment. And then you are not supposed to continue your race ahead. Then after making this 90 kilometers, you come back to transition, same, which is called T2. You can see the scenic roads, but of course, during the event, you are least bothered, you are focusing and you are trying to get in time. And you will be amazed to see the fitness level of these athletes. They are so fast, they are lean, thin, and very powerful. And then you come to T2, where you are supposed to change your shoes to running shoes, and then you start your half marathon. And it is amazing to see thousands of spectators. They are standing on the sides of the road and they keep motivating. And this is the finish line which you want to see within the cut-off time. And you can see the joy on their face. So many people ask me, why did I do Ironman? So as Shantanu said, I think there is an athlete in all of us. So we don't get right time, probably because of our medical education, to actually focus on what you like and to develop that field. So I think it's 2014, this was what I was, a typical so-called successful orthopedic surgeon with a big pot belly, probably symbol of success and wealth. Daily routine was very irregular, and I just could not see how to rectify it. Can I have volume?
जो हो रहा है होने दो, बर्दाश्त करते जाओ, या फिर जिम्मेदारी उठाओ उसे बदलने की.
So exactly, जो हो रहा है वो होने दो, या जिम्मेदारी उठाओ उसको बदलने की. And that's what I tried to do. And this was August 2018. I could shed few kgs. Of course, that was not the goal, but that was the side effect. Why to do Ironman or endurance event? I think it is just to test, to expand your comfort zone, to push boundaries, to find out what you are really made of. And most of you, if you are of type A personality, it is better to put your energy over here than in your practice. So for me, it all started with running. In 2015 Jan, I made a resolution that I have to find some time for myself and I should do bit of fitness activity. So I started running. It was very tough. It started with run walk theory, 5 minutes slow run followed by walk for a minute. And then I could slowly develop my stamina to run more without walking. And then the process began. You have to race with yourself every day. And about 4 months of starting running, I could comfortably do a 10K marathon or run in one of our marathon events. And I was very happy that I could run without stopping. Of course, the advantage of being orthopedic surgeon and also into sports medicine, it helps us to understand the science behind every athletic activity. So I tried to gain more knowledge about the terminologies. So what is the pace, what is the speed, cadence, stride length, and it becomes very easy for us to put it into practice because we have studied gait cycles so much in detail. So after 1 year, I could do this scenic route in Goa, which was my first half marathon. Again, I could finish in time without stopping. That was a big achievement. And of course, at this point, I realized that to improvise or to achieve further goals, I need some training. So I was lucky. We have a Ironman coach, certified coach in Pune, Kaustubh Radkar, who has done 22 full Ironman. So luckily, I got introduced to him. And then my scientific approach towards this activity was put in a training schedule. Then it involves performance, nutrition, recovery, functional strengthening, flexibility, mobility, and of course, positive mindset. Of course, we worked on my running form because see, when you start running, you may not run in a proper running form, which can lead to a lot of injuries. And believe me, I have gone through all sort of injuries which runners can have. I had to give up my running for 6 weeks for IT band syndrome, plantar fasciitis, all sort of symptoms you will have. And of course, we have advantage. We can improvise our gait and get a better running form. Of course, this sort of fitness watch becomes integral part of your training. And I would suggest everyone to have this fitness watch because this has acted as an inspiration and a motivation for me because it will count your distance, the route, your calories, your heart rate, cadence, whether you are doing a symmetrical running, and of course it will calculate your VO2 max. VO2 max was something which I studied in first year physiology. After that, I really paid serious attention after I started running. Of course, as Shantanu said, it's very important to have a good diet program, but I'm not a follower of Dikshit diet or any other diet. I have my own diet. I just made some adjustment. So I think it's very important to understand actually how much you eat. So I had a very simple approach towards my diet plan. For a couple of days, I got one kitchen weighing scale and I actually measured how many calories actually I'm eating. And this app, I would recommend MyFitnessPal. It gives you even all Indian Maharashtrian items as well. You can actually find out how much calories you eat when you actually eat fodnichi poli also, which normally I eat in my breakfast. So that's how I calculated whatever I was eating, I was just entering in my app. and it turned out to be almost 2100 calories. And for my weight, I was supposed to eat 1700 calories. So I was eating 400 calories extra. So that's it. I stopped there because I never wanted to be, obsessed with calorie business. But I had a realization that I'm eating 400 calories every day. So you can imagine over months here how much you can accumulate eventually. And I made a few observations that daily requirement of protein of everyone, and especially if you are doing athletic activity, is about 1 gram per kg. So you need to have at least 70 to 80 grams of protein, which was not there in my diet at all. So lack of complex carbs, too much of refined sugars, and inadequate fats. I think if you are doing endurance activity, you need a lot of fat. You need butter. And there is no harm in eating butter because you have to oil your joints well. And of course, your timing and pattern. So I made some changes and try to increase protein diets. It's very easy. If you eat non-veg, it's a very easy task for you to add proteins. And from 50 to 60 gram of protein, slowly I started eating about 80 grams of protein every day. Again, VO2 max, I won't go into the details, we all know. In short, VO2 max is nothing but तुम्हारी गाड़ी कितना average देती है. So and luckily, if you do a proper training, then your average of running or cycling is bound to increase. And the fitness watch gives you a criteria, objective criteria to evaluate your own fitness level. So it is age specific, so you can see where I started for my age. I was 32 or 33 on VO2 max, and in my peak season, my VO2 max was 44. So it is achievable, and you yourself realize I could not cycle even for half an hour, but now I can easily cycle for 5 hours or 6 hours without getting breathless. So I think this is just a science and you have to practice it. And of course, you can put your zones. These are all VO2 max zones. I think as a doctor, as an orthopedician, it's very easy for us to understand. And you can't, if you want to achieve bigger targets, you can't just randomly run and walk or cycle. You have to put your training program where you do 70% of your training in zone 3, and then you try to push your lactate threshold beyond by doing zone 4 and zone 5. So I think it's very interesting to get into the details of zone. And then with this training program, I could finish full marathon in Amsterdam in 2017 with a reasonably good pace. I could make it sub 5, and I was confident that I could run for 5-6 hours. So of course, then my triathlon training also got intensified. I did one sprint in Hyderabad, then Olympic distance in Goa, where I got first experience of sea swim. In fact, it is easier because buoyancy helps you and you can swim faster. But you have to just get a rhythm right because of the waves hitting you, there could be some problem with breathing and you may gulp a lot of water, salty water. So you have to be just careful about that. But I think I would suggest it's a fun to swim, and it won't be safer than this where a lot of team is there. In Goa, we have Indian Navy who is stationed there to help you out and to get you out of water if you panic or if you start drowning. Of course, I made a lot of friends in the hospital and outside the hospital who are athletes and very focused. So this also helps you. They keep motivating you. Of course, next target was Ironman 70.3. It's very important that you have to prepare well. Otherwise, you are bound to fail. So you can't do such activities randomly, haphazardly. You have to have a proper plan to achieve it. So it was a 6-month training. So I registered and then my training started. So I did about 36 bike rides, which was about 1,300 kilometers in total. 70 runs, about 500 kilometers, and 25 swims, which was about 35 kilometers. And of course, interval training, recovery, that was the scientific approach. And the race day, you can see, this is the Poland, and you can see the star I have put, that's the dance. Dinia is the beachside town where this was held. And this is the Baltic Sea. The advantage is Baltic Sea is less salty. So if you swim in Goa or Mumbai, you will find that it's quite drinkable water for us. And of course, Europe climate helps you. And these events are held in the best month of summer. So for them it's summer, but for us it's a nice, cool climate, winter. I think the most important is you have to be somebody nobody thought you could be. And probably that applies to me as well. So race day physiology is very important. See, you have 2000 calories stored in your muscles and you finish them in just 1.5 hours. So you have to be very careful while you are doing the event. You have to have at least 300 kilocalories every hour. So you have to replenish water, electrolytes, and also glucose. So you have to keep eating during your Ironman event. And these are the few photos. And this was the bike route. And this is the final certificate and the medal which you want to see and have it on your shoulder. And I was happy that I could finish this in 7 hours 39 minutes, which was very much within the cutoff times. And I would show you the last video of my finish. They record everything and you can have them on request. And this is the final finish line which you want to achieve at the end. Of course, this is not possible without family support, and I would thank my family members because you have to get up 5 o'clock morning, you have to start your runs and long distance cycling. So I think you have to convince your family members that they have to support. Thank you.